Cheerio again, lads. If you've watched my channel for a little while, you probably know that I think this is the greatest car that normal rich people can buy. It's the McLaren F1. So, now, you may also know that I think LCD models makes the finest diecast models. The problem is they don't make many of them, so that's why I don't have too many videos on them. So, it is actually a licensed product. Nice to know. It's the green version. It's from China, of course, like most things. A little line art there, some stuff there, same line art in. You can only really see the top and the side. Let's take a look at this. Oh boy. Alright, so, anything else in that box? No, not really. But there is a quality control pass. This might be the only brand where I actually believe there might be a quality control inspector. The reason why is the majority of my LCDs are in pretty good condition, no major defects. Some had some really minor imperfections that most people wouldn't care about, but I'm a nitpicky dude. So the case, yeah, it's not a good idea to just pick things up from the top, but in this case, hopefully it won't go crashing down to your floor. Anything really sensitive? Toe hooks? No, I don't think so. So I think we can take this one off the base. And that's what I've done, I think, on all my other LCD models. But I'm going to just put it back in this box after, because I don't have room to store these boxes anywhere else. So I just actually store them in a display. But I do wonder if that leads to paint rash, because it doesn't get to breathe as much. So be mindful of that. I kind of have a suspicion, TLVs and stuff, they always get paint rash because they're very often just stuck in those boxes. Well, I pulled up one green image, but I couldn't find any side views of a green car or a rear view of a green car, so we're going to have to just go with the silver ones, but you can see it better anyways, the silver photo. So look at the roof line and all that stuff. Yeah, that's a pretty good match, as one would expect if it's licensed. I don't know if they go and scan a real car, or somehow McLaren shares 3D CAD files with these guys. I don't know. I'm just going to focus in between the two. So, I don't see any major problems there. And sadly, it seems that Rowan Atkinson crashed this maroon one. He did get $1 million, I guess, or maybe it's £1 million in insurance, but then that source also said his premium a year is like £60,000. I think he may have owned two of these, or maybe he bought a second one after he ruined the first one. Alright, I'm trying to focus here on this guy. Here we go. So sadly, it is a really dark green, but I already have a silver one, and a black one, and an orange one, so that's why I went with this green one. But now in this angle, you can see it is nice and metallic, so in certain light, it does catch, there you go. It's really nice. If you look at the clear coat, it actually looks smooth. I don't see any orange peel. Let me know if you see any. I'm looking at this through my phone screen, so I can't really see as much as you guys can. Let's go with the rear wheels. This is a bigger one. Alright, well, there's a little gold for the center knockoff there. It's not printed very well though, so that's atypical of LCD. This tire is rounded, which is nice. I can't say it's the smoothest rubber though. It looks a little bit pitted or old or something. But you can see there is air passing between these tiny spokes here, so that's nice and realistic. And you can see the brake does not spin, which makes sense. And that brake is pretty far back in there, and it does have two calipers. One the main brake, and I'm gonna guess that's probably an emergency brake, but I don't know for sure. It does seem to have some more texture on the brake itself, mimicking cross drilling or some sort of slotting. It looks a little weird though. Alright. So from the side, the tread blocks don't look like it belongs on an off-road military vehicle. They are present, but they're not obnoxious, like a lot of other brands seem to do. Okay, we have, this is the XP5. This is the prototype. I should have looked. I'm gonna look for new images. Alright, I got new images, but they're so dark it's not even worth comparing to. You'll see them at the end of the video. But that's a pleasant surprise. XP5 was the last of the experimental prototypes, and this was the car used to sell this car to other people. So the press, the automotive press got to drive this car. XP3 is the one that set the record of 231 miles per hour for its day. Alright, so let's see, there's a little protruding dot here with a reflector or some sort of running light. Panel gaps seem okay, nothing majorly wrong. This is actually a hatch, and there's storage behind here on the real car. This is the door, and then the front treads, again, they don't look too blocky. It's okay, I guess. I'd rather see no tread blocks, but maybe when compared to the second rear photograph, you actually will see this kind of tread on the car. Okay, well, we got separate mirrors here, and unfortunately, hold on a second. Are these rubbery? Or am I just bending the stock? I wouldn't bend these. Maybe that's just loose. I thought for a minute they might be rubbery like Mini GT, but I can't say for sure. But they do have a reflective sticker in there. It's pretty realistic. Hopefully it won't fall out. The windows have molded in details in. They're painted black, so that seems okay. Let's go around to the front. And what's going on in this vent? This little bisecting thing is painted black. It's so dark in there, I can't tell if there's a pattern or not. Let me get the good old flashlight, see if there's any sort of texturing. Oh no, even better, it's like a real vent. Right? So maybe that's the wheel well there on the right side, but to the left of it is just air. Like it would be going past that wheel well fender and into the brake system. I realized that was out of focus, but I can't. There we go. See? Look at that. That's like a real vent. Pretty cool. LCD, doing it again. Although I do think that really the real brake vents might be these little things here. But I don't know. Maybe there's a radiator behind there on the real car. Seems awfully big to be a brake vent, that's all I'm saying. Okay, let's see. This turn signal. How did LCD go about doing this? Yeah, I think it's just painted. Yeah. Oh well. At least it's not, well, hold on. It's hard to tell through a phone screen. I have this suspicion that's just painted orange because it's like wrapping. It's not a smooth plastic, right? Or maybe this is a decal. Oh, there we go. I hate decals. Just like that, right? So that's not cool. It looks nice and all, but, I mean, if you touch it, it's a good chance. Like if you touch it with your fingers, your fingerprint might just peel it off and you don't even notice it, and then the next time you pick it up you don't have a turn signal. That's why I don't like decals. This one is a decal as well, and it's on top of the clear coat, so there's a good chance it could fall off. It is nicely printed, but yeah. Right, so the clear lens cover has some black for the molding, and then behind it you can see it looks like it's a separate piece of a really chrome shiny decal. So the decal itself is mimicking a three-dimensional light bucket. That's what I'm seeing, I think. I don't see much. It might have some dimensionality to it, but you'll have to decide. Again, you can probably see more than I can because I'm looking through a mobile phone screen. Nice paint again. Very nice. Wiper blade here, molded into the windscreen, painted black, and then the molding as well. You can see the dashboard. Now, this LCD is the only brand I'm aware of that has like a Alcantara type of finish on a lot of their interiors. So it literally has like a suede texture, but here in the middle, pretty smooth. Maybe they added paint on top of that. So that's cool. It's a two-tone dash. Very neat. Alright, some hinge details for the doors. This side, spins slow. I know you guys care about that. I'm actually quite surprised this thing rolls because it's so well detailed. But there you go, if you want to go destroy it on a Hot Wheels track. Okay, yeah, decal there. This side looks pretty good. Now noticing a little door handle button there. And we have a little black painted fuel filler there. I don't know if that's accurate. I think it is accurate. It is black on that photograph I pulled up. There's some black in these vents up here. And also down in here. Okay, this wing pops up on the real car. So we got nice thick plastic orange and red taillights. And then we got McLaren printed on the license plate, which is nice. Again, though, actually, maybe it's a decal. Let me get a different angle. Is it Tampo? It looks like a Tampo to me. Unless the whole thing... excuse me. I think the whole thing might be wrapped in a decal. You see this? I don't know if that's a remnant of this thing being covered in a decal or not. It's hard to say. This is some sort of foil sticker or something like that. It's a little offset, but it looks pretty nice. Yeah, the taillights do look nice. Very thick. And now you'll see, this is a metal grille. So a photo etch metal grille painted black. And then, I gotta back out a little bit so I can get my flashlight in here. And let's see if there's any detail behind that grille. And no. But it's clearly, whoa, maybe you can see the engine back there. Yeah, I think you might be able to start seeing some of the engine, or like maybe the, I don't know, but there's a big opening back there behind the license plate. See? Okay, well that's pretty cool. Pretty realistic. It's passing air. This grill here, I'm going to suspect that's photo etched metal as well. And actually now it looks like there might be some silver shining through it. Yep, look at that. There's air passing behind that grill. So that silver is probably like a muffler. And then look at the tubes for the exhaust. They are very thin. They're deep. So I wouldn't be surprised if those are real metal tubes. And they're hand laid because this one of them's, you know, this one's a little crooked. These look pretty horizontal, but this one's canted. So that's an impressive rear end, and it's not meant to be a joke. Reflectors, backup light. I think these again, possibility as a decal again, because yeah, I'm touching it. Yeah, I think I just dented that decal, so that's a little scary. So you might not want to take these off the base, because again, if you have moist fingers, you're just gonna rip that off. Let's go at the bottom before the interior. So LCD, they very often, I think, have some carbon finishes. This is molded into the plastic, which is kind of neat. So it tells you the scale, what the car is, who made it. It just doesn't tell you copyright. So, it doesn't tell you it's an XP5, but I guess maybe that's identical to a regular production car. So these tires are cool because this rear tire is clearly a different tread design than the front tire, and I wouldn't be surprised if the real car is like that, because you know all the power is going to the rear wheels. You'll see this is actually curved for the air to go under there, and then it diffuses out. So very nice. I suppose we can take it apart. Why not? Let's try this. Hold on. Get the screwdriver. Trying to not touch any of the areas with decals. Okay, so the axle is held in by the top interior piece. I got a different angle. And that's interesting. There's like some weird glue residues. I'm just used to seeing like melting marks instead, but it almost looks like this is glued together instead of melted together. And I'm having a hard time getting this out. Let's get the dental pick, see if we can pick it out. No, that's actually quite difficult. Let's get under here. Okay. So, oh, nice. It's got the two mirrors, you know, because this has a central driving position. The thing has two mirrors to look behind through those windows. Although I do question if you can really see through those windows, but on the real car, that is. Alright, so central driving position. I'm trying to see if there's anything in the instrument binnacle. I'm gonna need the flashlight. It's pretty deep. I just out of focus. No, I don't see any decal. I do kind of see like a molded detail. I'm going to change to 1 lumen. Yeah, so I think there might be some molded details. You can see the dashboard. It looks like there's 2 glove boxes in front of each passenger. I'm really minor details next to it, but the steering wheel's got some like dimples in the middle, and it has the control stalks, the turn signal, and the the lights and the wiper blades and all that stuff. The seats as well have this Alcantara finish. There's a little red in there. Hold on. I'm not sure why there would be a speck of red in there. But the driver's seat has some minor switches and stuff to the side of him. The door panels also have this Alcantara finish, and you'll notice it's a little air passing between that one. So the passenger seats, yeah, they're okay, I guess. Alright, so then we got to the rear, and yeah, this is what made me question if you could see out those rear windows, because it's got this big thing, heat shield, I'm going to assume. And yeah, it's kind of a lame engine top. Yeah, no additional color there. Yeah, it's kind of weak, actually. I expected a lot more from LCD on that one. Maybe at least like some, unless the thing is totally black in there, but I don't know. Alright, well, yeah, to be honest with you, this might be the weakest LCD interior I've ever seen. But in the grand scheme of things, I would prefer the outside to look perfect and have a lame interior than vice versa. Because, I just never really look at the interiors of these things outside of these reviews. Let me screw this back together, and we'll come back and look at some other models. So looking at this photograph, I ask you guys, do you find which of these McLarens to be the most attractive? For me, maybe it's because I'm old. I just really like this. For some reason, I just don't really like the styling of modern McLarens. I will give them the credit, they look unlike any other hypercars or supercars. But for me, I think I would just rather buy a Lamborghini or even a Ferrari, and I hate that company. So, I don't know, what do you guys think? If you had that kind of money, would you buy a McLaren over another brand of supercar? Okay, that's randomness, sorry. Alright, let's start with the less realistic ones. So I have this Hot Wheels GTR version with 3D printed wheels, so that's clearly not 1/64 scale. And I have the normal street version in silver by Hot Wheels, 3D printed wheels though. And that's still, a bit bigger than 1/64. But from a top view, yeah, it's definitely noticeable. But for the cost of a mainline Hot Wheels, one cannot but complain. I mean, I love that they have these printed on headlights and stuff. Okay. Getting to a little more realism. Let's see, we have this GTR. This is the one that actually went and won the 24 Hours of Le Mans, or Le Mans as I like to say. So if you look at it, minus the wing and the chin spoiler, it doesn't look drastically different from the road car, and yet this thing won out against purpose-built, race cars. That's why I love this thing. Okay, top view of these. Did I say that this is by Kyosho? And this is by Kyosho? So, Kyoshos are okay. If you can get them for the original price, they're fantastic, but I highly doubt that's ever going to happen. But prior to this LCD one, I kind of like these Kyoshos. I guess I still like them now. They're just, they seem to be, well, that's up to you to decide. They just don't seem as good to me. Let's see. And then, I got this long tail version by Kyosho. And I have this Tomica, I don't know, it says 160. It doesn't say premium though. I have a suspicion this is a Tomica premium, but I 3D printed my own wheels again. So again, yeah, the Tomica clearly is bigger, so maybe that Hot Wheels was somewhere around 160. And then you'll see as time went on, the long tail, for more downforce, it just morphed into something more like a true prototype racing car that would not make sense on a normal public road. Alright, I got one more, and it's a bit of a letdown. It's a resin model by Scale Mini of the car that won Le Mans again, but the wheels on this thing really don't match the wheels on the real car, so that's what That's what let me down about it. You know, for the price of a resin, you'd think they would get the wheels correct when even Kyosho got the wheels more correct, I think, right? That's what the wheels look like in photographs. Well, more so than these. Alright, let's let this guy spin on its own. Get the solar spin thing going, and we'll look at those other photos I pulled up. So those are supposedly photos of the actual XP5. It had this registration number on it, and I think that actually says XP5 down there. So you know, it's almost like a black car in these photographs. It's really hard to see the details, kind of like this model. I was so excited to look at the model, I didn't even talk about this. It actually does say XP5 here on the nameplate, this little photo-etched piece of metal. So that is what it is, but it still looks like the road car. Alright, well, I would have to say, this actually isn't the nicest LCD model as far as the execution goes. Oh, and by the way, they're the treads. You can see how they're swept like that. So those treads are pretty realistic. I kind of feel like the previous McLaren put out by this brand, like their earlier one. I think it was like a 650 or 675 or something. One of the uglier ones. I think that thing had more detail. My solar spinner can't keep up. But I will say this probably is still the nicest 1/64 scale McLaren F1. I even like it more than the resin one because the resin one doesn't have realistic looking wheels. It has more details in general, but it doesn't look like the real race car. Whereas this looks like the photographs. So yeah, if you had to buy one McLaren F1 that really wants to look like the real thing, I would say this is it. Let me know if you think otherwise. If there's a nicer model of a road car from a brand, I'll buy it. I just don't know what it is. Okay guys, well, thanks for watching again, and whenever LCD puts out another cool casting, I will purchase it. They put out a casting of like I think it's a different McLaren, but with no windshield. It's a really ugly car. I can't get myself to buy that one, so that's not gonna happen. I forget what it's called. But I really like this brand. I do feel for diecasts, this is it. This is probably the best brand going. So, okay, ta-ta.